Have you ever thought about having a mind-blowing session to enlighten your mind? I mean, think about it. They say knowledge is power. So get ready for another educative time out with the Dawn. Don't miss out on this one.
I've shared the story a lot of times, but I am not tired of always sharing the story. It was in 2010 that I wanted to publish a book. I felt like I had what the world needed, and I needed to put it in the book. I've read books all my life. My mom is an English teacher. I was an English teacher, even though she has retired right now. But I've been a great reader of books, been reading books all my life, every blessed day. And so I decided that I was going to put all my thoughts, the things I knew, in form of a book. And I approached a company based in the US, Destiny Image at the time. And back then I used to love the books of Miles Monroe, the late Miles Monroe. I still love his books. I love the way he poses in front of his books, his face, wearing a jacket or shirt and tie. And I loved the company. I wanted the company to publish the book, my own book for me also at the time. And so I reached out to them and sent them an email, sent them a manuscript, telling them about how I wanted them to publish my book. And then I got a reply. And they said to me they don't publish for Nigerians or Africans, and that I should reach out to their sister company in Italy. And so I wrote the sister company in Italy. And after a few days, they wrote me back, and I won't forget all my life that particular sentence. And that sentence wasn't about anything. It was purely based on business decision. And they said to me that to publish me was an economic risk to them, being the fact that I wasn't known, I didn't have the influence. And they said to me something that was very, very, very instrumental to my journey and my success ever since then. They said to me that there's a man in the city of Port Harcourt where I live called David Ibiome. David Ibiome is a pastor that owns one of the largest churches in the city of Port Harcourt called Salvation Ministries, and that I should go check him out. Of course I knew. So when I went to, check him out, of course I knew who David Ibiome was at the time. David Ibiome is a man of influence, a great man of influence, that if he publishes a book and comes to the church on Sunday and says, hey guys, this is a book published, I want you guys to get a copy of the book. Trust me, thousands and thousands of individuals will get the book on that same day. I don't have that kind of influence. Even up to now, I don't have it. David Ibiome has that kind of influence, but I have grown in influence over the years. And so what happened at the time was that they said to me, the company, that if I wanted to go ahead to publish my book, that they were willing to send me what it was going to cost me to do that. And I accepted, and I sent back the email with a detailed analysis of what it was going to cost me to publish my own book. And as at that time, to be able to get just a book sold and to get my margins was to sell a book at 3,000 naira. This was as far back as 2010. To sell the book for 3,000 naira or $30, as case may be at the time, was going to be an uphill task for me. So I had to decline that offer to go ahead to publish my book with the company. And I was distraught. I was unhappy. I wasn't happy with myself. So by that very day, I got to work. I was still working as an employee at the time. So I sat down in my office and I was thinking of what to do. And so I decided to show the email to a senior employee of mine he's an Italian. I don't know where he is now today. His name is Franco Lucarella. He was in charge of the electrical department at the time. And so I showed it to him, and I told him, the pains I was going through, being the fact that I felt rejected. The book wasn't going to be published by the company. Lucarella said something to me. He said, Emeka, go and build he didn't say to me, Emeka, they called me Joseph back then. And so he said, Joseph, go and build your own influence. And after a while, if you dedicate yourself to building your influence, after a while, companies are going to call you to also for you to be a brand ambassador, and they can publish your book for you. So I took that piece of advice, and ever since then I've been growing my influence. And that's what that short conversation I'm going to be having with you in this short this short video, right? Today I've become brand ambassador of companies, and people seek my counsel. People travel from far and near to come to visit me to seek my counsel. I get invited to speak on several platforms, right? And my words actually hold power, and people rally to the import of my words, both spoken words and written words. Have good influence, and that's the basis, the crux of the conversation, how you can leverage social media to be able to build your own influence. All right, so I'm going to share with you a few, would I say, examples or deciders as to what influence means to me. Okay, and I would like you to write down for yourself. Influence means to me changing people's lives. All right. So what I do basically is, because over the years on social media, I have grown my followership, okay? Because to a certain extent, followership can make for influence. The account that I'm using right now on Facebook, because I love Facebook a lot, is a second account that I had created. But my first account grew to 144,000 followers before it had issues. I'm still working on it, and I'm hopeful that I'm going to get the account back. The one I have now is getting close to 50,000 followers at the time of doing this teaching. And I can tell you that by virtue of that followership, I've been able to change people's lives just by making posts. All right, just by making posts. And so randomly from time to time, I just take one individual that I see is doing amazing on my platform, in my community, in my audience, and then I write about the individual. All right. I remember a particular lady that was doing a particular product that she called Gafe. In the part of Nigeria where I live, we have a staple food called Gari. I mean, people eat it and people drink it. You can make it into make into a solid form where you can eat it with soup, or you can soak it in water and then you drink it with a spoon, or you put sugar and any other thing that you feel, milk that you feel is okay for you, then you can drink it as food. And so she was in university at the time, and she decided to do what she called Gafe. All right, she called it Gafe. It's a combination of Gari and, you know, parfait is when, you know, parfait, right, where you can scoop it and then you can eat it. But in her own case, she called it Gafe. So she put the Gari in a cup, and she will put granules, she will put any other condiment that people usually love, and then put sugar and milk. And so at the time, what students would do would just basically buy the cup, pour water in it, mix it with a spoon, and then they are good to go. And so I found a girl doing that as a business while she was in school at the time, and then I wrote about her. Trust me, when I wrote about her, a few of the individuals also wrote about her, and she went viral at the time. I invited her to speak on my platform, and she got lots of visibility, lots of purchases. It was great. And I do this from time to time for individuals. Just take one individual who is doing amazing, write about the individual. The individual gets some form of patronage, some form of popularity, and their lives are changed. Done it for quite a lot of individuals. That's what influence means to me. All right. The next thing is, influence means to me getting individuals to rally behind a cause. I've seen individuals who have lost their means of livelihood. I had one particular friend of mine back then, where the company where I used to work, and he lost his job. He got another job in another company and lost that job too, that he got another company. And at some point, things were really tough for him, to the point where he had an eviction notice from his landlord to leave the apartment. He sent me pictures. They had been evicted. Their properties were outside. It hurt me a whole lot. So I took it up on a campaign. Then I wrote about it. And within 24 hours, he got the money he needed to pay for a new apartment. Beyond that, I've seen individuals who are on the sick bed, maybe they have chronic diseases, or like cancer, or terminal illnesses. And then I take it up as a campaign. And then I do the campaign, and people donate money. I remember a particular friend of mine, her father had issues, and he was lying in the hospital down. The picture was so painful, and we took it up as a campaign. And today the man is still alive as at the time of making this video. It's absolutely joyful. That's what influence means to me, to be able to change people's lives and to rally people behind the cause, a human cause. getting people to contribute to that cause was truly remarkable. All right. For me, it means getting individuals to align with a socio-political ideology that can better the society. I mean, it's a tough path to actually walk on, to get people to rally behind a socio-political cause, right? Over here in Nigeria, where I live, politics is something that people will call dirty. It's something that is very fierce. People can kill for it. People can maim your life for it. But I usually wouldn't want to keep quiet, because the individuals that we vote into power, to a large extent, will determine the kind of policies that they make that will affect our overall lives. And so, during electioneering campaigns, I study the candidates. I check their values. I check what they do. I check their antecedents. I check their family life. Just do these checks to make sure that this particular individual is actually the individual we need that can take us on a great path. All right. So that's what influence means to me, to get individuals to rally behind a socio-political cause and to make society better. It also means transformation in the world where people are becoming increasingly confused about their identities. I mean, right now, it's a very, very heated topic. People want to identify as anything. People identify as animals. People can identify as trees. I mean, I don't know why it's like that, but it's what is happening right now in our society. All right. People are objectifying themselves, and it's looming so large. But I've got to be able to put my voice, because I believe that people should not objectify themselves. Okay. I have kids. I have family. I can't raise them in a society where people think that it's okay to identify as an inanimate object, right? So it means transformation to me. I mean, in a world where people are becoming increasingly confused about their identities, all right? In this sense, it means ethically beaming of light into the darkness of their minds. That's what influence means to me, because I feel that their minds are dark. I feel that way. All right, to enliven them. So the transformation is beaming the light into their dark minds, and to enliven them. All right. So it means creating progressive cultures and thinking patterns. That's to me what influence means to me. All right. What I do is premised on what I will quote the late Fela Kuti, the late Afro beat legend. He said, "To have a great nation, you need great men. To be a great man, you need a great nation. You can't just be a great man by yourself. You have to be a great nation first." Let me repeat it again. The late Fela Kuti. He said, "To have a great nation, you need great men. To be a great man, you need a great nation. You can't just be a great man by yourself. You have to be a great nation first." Right? So what that means for me is that influence compels me to build a community of people who will embrace progressive ideologies, so that together we can build the future that we all deserve. All right. So in every one of us lies what is needed to build us, to build a nation, and to build the future. Or your gifts, your experiences, your talents. These are tools for creating the future that we all desire to have. All right. And those things inside of you, your experiences, all the things I've listed out, can also help in building the future and creating the influence that can create progressive ideologies. Okay, so influence for me is getting people, influence for me is getting individuals to take a premeditated action or instigate action within themselves. And it is at the base of growing movements and changing narratives. So that's what influence means to me, and that can be grown. You can utilize social media. In all the videos of mine, I always share on the drivers of influence. I hope that you can watch that video as long as you are here on my channel, and together, you and I can build progressive societies, can build a future that we all deserve to live in if we influence lives positively, if we take on the ethical meaning of influence and hold it there and spread it. All right, so go ahead and do so. I look forward to us truly building the nations that we desire, societies that we desire to live in. Live your best life always. Ciao.
He's the dawn, the man of the hour, and he can know this. He's a leader, showing us the way, writing books and teaching every day.